All right, man. Welcome to episode 4 on the playoff edition of This Week Inside the New York Knicks. Man, we live in the building. Salute to you if you're in here early. You're not rocking with the most popping Knicks YouTube channel. Pick up your headphones. Man, we got a show. Unfortunately, coming off a tough loss. Whew. It happens. It happens. But I honestly believe we're gonna bounce back. So salute to you if you're in the building early. Salute to do-it-yourself digital creator box. I see you in the building early. Hopefully we can get you a banner or something like that. You could sponsor one of these shows. But what a week, man. 4 games in the books, 2-2. And that's something we got to remember. That listen, it don't matter if you lose by 1 or 50, it's still one game. You don't get points. You don't get extra points or extra credit for beating a team, by more points. That's just not how the playoffs work. I remember there was a series. I can't remember exactly what team it was, but the Chicago Bulls, Michael Jordan, they got smacked. I think it was the Cleveland. But anyway, salute to Sam. Sam in the building. Definitely, y'all, if you checking out the stream, I have a comment pinned about the Discord. Salute to Sam. He definitely is one of the members of the Discord. Knicks Tape Madness. Definitely get up in there. But salute to you, Sam. Yeah, it's a 7-game. Listen, it's a 7-game series. Honestly, the prediction last week on the pod, we said Knicks in 6. So we're still on par for Knicks in 6, right? And yes, we got the rest. That's another key thing. I'm gonna get to that when we get to the flagship. I do believe we could bounce back. But some of the topics that we're going to talk about, as you can see on the screen, we got the Knicks versus the Pacers, of course. That's the series we're in. I'm going to talk about Game 5 a little bit. We'll get into, of course, we'll talk about the blowout and Game 3, just to assess certain things that happen in those games that hopefully we can adjust moving forward. We're also going to talk about Draymond Green and his crazy comments. I love when professional athletes are at home talking about the playoffs. It's just interesting. To me, that's just I would just avoid any commentary until next season. But he does have a podcast. So yeah, of course he's going to talk about the playoffs and more, man. So if you're new to the podcast, this podcast is dedicated to documenting the Knicks 365. You give me 50 minutes, I give you the Knicks. Though these last couple of podcasts have been going long, but today I'm gonna try to stay closer to the time because there's not really much to talk about in terms of what we need to do with the Pacers. Right now, that's the ops. That's where the focus is. So I think we could get it done in 50 minutes this week. But so you know what? Let's jump into research mode. So we could just put everything on the screen. Research mode is when we do a screen share, and we talk about all the topics so we can be on the same page. Stephen A. Smith, if the Knicks aren't healthy, they're in trouble. Yes or no? Yes and no, because it's all a matter of how. If Burks can give us, for example, if Burks can give us the production he's been giving us off the bench, and Deuce can have a solid game, because Deuce has kind of been slacking a little bit. If Deuce can have a solid game with Burks, and then Sims, it's going to be rough with Sims. He hasn't gotten much time. He hasn't played much at all. I think the last time he was active in the rotation might have been like 2-3 months ago. So it's going to be hard for him to get acclimated. But if he can give us a solid 8 to 10 minutes, just to give Hartenstein some rest, Precious, you can slide him over to the 5 as well. But I do think health is an issue. I'm going to talk more about health a little bit later. But in terms of, let's jump into Game 4. But Sam, I hear you on the rest bit. I'm gonna touch on that a little bit. Game 4, there's nothing to talk about in terms of strategy. They should have did this. Try these plays out. This was just a game of the Knicks had no energy, tired. They hit the wall. I'm not sure if there's a such thing. I know there's a such thing called the rookie wall. I felt like in this game, they literally hit the playoff wall from the opening tip. The Pacers just came out, guns a blazing. I do have to credit their defense a little bit. Definitely, the 94 feet has caught up to the Knicks a little bit. I don't think it's not anything like. I still feel like they're bad. They're not a good defensive team. I just think that when you go up against a tired Knicks team, Jalen Brunson dealing with a mild ankle sprain, guys are just playing a lot of minutes. Or Josh Hart had to get an early rest in the first half. That normally doesn't happen because hey, these guys are gassed out. But like Sam said, I think that the rest is going to be the key. These guys not having to run 40 minutes, I think it's going to do them a lot well. Also, the early starts are tough, bro. Ask any professional athlete. I watch a lot of podcasts, NBA players, all different types of ones. And a lot of them, they always talk about how early starts are the roughest, especially an early start on the road. Now, I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but I am wondering if maybe there was some foul play. I don't know. I don't want to go there, but there's been stories. Don't forget that Jordan flu game when he got food poisoning, but he still put up, had a great game and it led to the win. But at the same time, I don't know. I'm not saying I was done here. I don't want to make no excuses. But I mean, the way this team came out, we seen this team fight. Hold on, y'all. Let me adjust my camera. I feel like I'm off to the side. But I'm not trying to say, look, I'm not trying to say there's any foul play here, right? I don't want to seem like I'm turning over another leaf, but it's just kind of eerie how dead the team was, like they had no energy. But it is what it is. It happened. It's 2-2. That's why getting those first two games are important. No energy this game. I mean, look at the Pacers starters didn't even do much. Like if you're just a box score watcher, the Pacers ain't do much in terms of the starting lineup. Honestly, the bench came in and put in a lot of work, but this has nothing, like I said, this has nothing to do with strategy. This was just a battle of attrition. We had no energy, none of that stuff. Let's see. I got some articles I want to touch on talking about this game. Once again, salute to the Knicks, man, because you know how Rick Carlisle in Game 2, and I'm going to get to Game 2 a little bit. This podcast may seem a little dark in the beginning, like because like losing the 2 games, but then towards the end, I'm especially when I get into flagship, I'm gonna show you why the Knicks are not as bad off as we think they are. Right? A lot of times in these playoffs, people are short-sighted. Look at the Denver series. I feel like the Denver series is like a parallel to our series as to why you can't get too up, or you shouldn't have such strong feelings one way based off 1 or 2 games. Because and even in the history of the playoffs, it's going to show that you're going to look like a fool at the end of the day because it ain't over till it's over. Even if you're down 3-1. Ask LeBron James with the Warriors when the Warriors had that 3-1 lead. Yes, Draymond Green, who we will talk about a little bit later, his circumstance was he got suspended, and that kind of threw off the momentum. Cavs wanted to win 3 games straight. So it ain't over till it's over, y'all. It ain't over till it's over. Salute to everybody that just joined the building. We this week inside the Knicks, episode 4, playoff edition, and we're talking about this Pacers series. So yeah, Brunson, he's not making any excuses, right? Though if there's a guy who could get an excuse, it would be him or Josh Hart. Josh Hart's playing a lot of minutes in the playoffs. That's really rough. But Brunson, he's saying he insists that he's fine, right? Even though he appears to be hobbled. And they try to also say that Nesmith's defense has nothing to do with this. It's not Nesmith's defense. Sorry, no knock to him, but it's more so like it's a battle of attrition, like I said. But these guys ain't making no excuse. The game is basketball. You just got to do things. You don't know what they're expected, and the ball just got to go in. I mean, Brunson, like I said, these guys not making no excuses, unlike the Pacers, who were full of excuses in the first 2 games. All right, so let's jump into the next one. Donte DiVincenzo amidst the Pacers competed harder. Definitely, I would say so. If you ain't got no legs, the game is over. You can't. It's hard. They're playing 7 guys, 40 minutes. I mean, that's going to catch up to you. That's going to catch up to you. I mean, that's all with this article. I mean, you can check these articles out. This is the New York Post here. I do also have a quote here by Rick Carlisle. Here's why I never coming into this series. I never underestimated the Pacers. I said, yo, this series is going 6 games. The only reason why I said maybe 5 was after the first 2 games because I figured we could get one in Indiana. But once I seen, the way these 2 games went into Indiana, it reminded me like, okay, yeah, Karai, you said this is not going to be a blowout. We're not going to run through this team, even though we feel like we are a better team than them with all the injuries and the way the series is going. But Rick Carlisle and the Pacers are taking us seriously. Even after the loss, Haliburton was like, listen, we know we got business to do. We know we go in the Madison Square Garden. We know it's going to be crazy. So we can't, write this team off. Rick Carlisle said the Knicks thrive on these kind of challenges, and you got to give them a lot of credit for the things they've overcome this year. Our guys are learning that level of toughness that you need to win at this stage of the playoffs. So, the Pacers are taking us very seriously, y'all. They're not looking down at us. And that's why I don't feel like the rivalry is that heated. It's like it's just too much respect on both sides. Guys are friends. You got former teammates. It's not as nasty as it was. I just remember like watching these games, feeling a little bit more tension, like there could be a fight at any given moment. We really haven't really seen moments. I mean, there was a moment with Brunson and TJ McConnell yesterday during the first quarter or the first half when they kind of was going back and forth. But those guys really like each other. So it's like, I don't know, y'all. What do y'all think about that? What do you are you feeling the tension in terms of they don't like each other? I feel like these guys don't really care for each other in terms of not like having any strong dislike for each other. I don't know how to feel about that. Let's try to see if I got any more quotes here I want to read. This is the first time the Knicks have lost 2 straight games since the end of March 31st. And it's been the first time they lost consecutive games on the road since before the All-Star break. So, a couple of things that I didn't anticipate happening because we had a lot of good success on the road. I'm still not confident in Indiana's defense. And I think that we have what it takes to overcome it. Let's see. All right, Jalen Brunson. Jalen Brunson also, to piggyback off what the last article, we could talk about fresh legs. We can give ourselves the pity we want, but it doesn't matter. We lose, we lose. You see, notice the difference in how both teams lost. Rick Carlisle was going in about, small market teams and things of that nature. And the Knicks, when we lose, it's like, yo, we just got to do better. Even with the missed call in Game 3, I'm going to get to that. No one has said anything. The refs, they're trying to sabotage us. It's just taking accountability the way we need to. So let's see. Let's keep it moving. Donte DiVincenzo. Salute to Donte DiVincenzo. Rick Carlisle says he's a great player. In the first 3 games, we didn't treat him like he was. We didn't treat him with that level of urgency. So now they giving him the respect that they should have gave him in the first game. But once again, I don't think this had anything to do with what the Pacers was doing. I think it was everything to do with the Knicks just being flat. Let's see what Samuel has to say in the chat. Looked like Siakam and Brunson had words. Oh, yeah, I do remember that. When they were shooting free throws, yeah. But, I mean, do you really feel as though these guys don't like each other? Or more so, it's like, in the moment you're competing in the playoffs, there's a lot at stake. So there could just be tension with that. Honestly, like, once again, I feel like that Nugget and Timberwolves series is kind of like a parallel to our series. Like, there was a clip at the end of Game 4 where Anthony Edwards was shaking his head it looked like he was also talking to someone on the other side, and he was like basically trying to say it's game on. because that series was crazy. Denver lost the first 2 games at home. Everybody wrote them off. And then they came back and won the 2 games on the road. So it's like kind of punched them back in the face. And that's kind of like what happened with us. Like we beat them pretty convincingly the first 2 games, and then they came back. Yeah, exactly, Sam, right? It don't feel like it. It don't seem like it. It's just like, I don't know. I think we need that just to give us that extra motivation. You know, that's another reason why, from a positive outlook, I don't ever see us get blown out like that, but I do think that we needed it as a reality check, and I think that they're going to be able to answer the call. So let's keep it moving. Let's see if I got any more quotes here. So that's Donte taking accountability. All our guys taking accountability after the game. Now, we talked about this last week. Let me see. I feel like there's more animosity. Yeah, the crowd, of course. The fans, yeah. We can. You already know. Oh, so okay, all right. I'm gonna touch on the fans, Sam, but I'm just gonna say this for now, because I feel like that's going to be the edge coming back to MSG. They think that Indiana crowd was crazy. Wait till Game 5, and you talk about hostile environment. That Game 5 crowd, definitely, of course, yeah, Sam, it's the crowd. But I'm talking about the players. We need the players to really show us the fire too, not just us as fans. You already know we're gonna bring it. So, definitely, I see what you're saying, Sam. As far as T.J. McConnell, I said it last week. If you watched the pod, T.J. McConnell is my concern. He and Miles Turner, to me, were the 2 X factors, and now I'm gonna add Pascal Siakam to the fold. T.J. McConnell is someone who literally maintains the offensive continuity, or I'm not saying he's as good as Tyrese Haliburton, but he can sort of give you that same impact on the floor because he can create his own shot, and he's a decent playmaker. He's someone that can set guys up too, and he plays really good off pick and roll, and he likes to dive. He's just a dog. He's really a dog. So I always knew that he was going to be a problem. He was definitely the X factor, and even in this Game 4, as soon as he came in the game, it was, whether it was getting buckets, whether it was getting assists, he was putting in work. T.J. McConnell played another effective game with 15 points, 10 assists in 21 minutes. Now, half of the stats you see in this game was fourth quarter stuff because the starters didn't really play in the fourth quarter. So, but at the same time, T.J. McConnell, he is definitely a dog. Let me see if I got anything else here on T.J. McConnell. We might have to really, and I'm glad they got this image here. This is Deuce's job. Deuce has to take on this challenge. Like, Deuce really has to make sure that T.J. McConnell, he has to neutralize anything he can while he's on the floor. Because look at this right here. This is a great example. This image right here is a great example of just dead legs. Look at, it's like Deuce is not even contesting the shot. like what is Deuce doing? And you can't leave the man any daylight. So that's an example of what we're talking about. So I'm going to move forward. Let's see. Isaiah Hartenstein says, the way we played today, it was not respectful to the fans and how they support us. You know what? The fans, we understand. This is not a team like the Celtics, for example, right? When the Celtics got blown out in Game 3 of their series, yes, they missing Kristaps Porzingis. Okay, but Cleveland's also missing Allen. How many of you guys think that Cleveland is on Boston's level in any way? How many of you think that Boston should have got blown out the way they did at home? You know what I'm saying? So it is what it is. I don't want him to. The fans, we all right. We understand. That's all. I don't want him to think that we know we get it. These guys are fighting hard. This is not a effort thing, right? This is not a skill thing. This is just, we're tired. Let me see here. Tom Thibodeau, no excuse. Once again, notice the difference between Rick Carlisle gets ejected in game 2, has a tantrum, right? And he gets thrown out the game. Tom Thibodeau, no excuse. It's not just OG. OG was out for a good chunk of the season, so that's no excuse. No excuse. So the OG, they're not using OG as an excuse. I'm going to use it as an excuse for them because I just feel like if we had our team, I mean, not even just OG. I mean, if we had Randall and Mitchell Robinson, right, and Bojan, come on, it'll be a different game. Now Brunson doesn't have to carry all the weight. You have somebody like Randall. And to my Randall people who are in the chat or who are going to be watching this episode, yeah, do you see Randall's value now? Do you see his value now? Randall is somebody who 3-time All-Star, 2-time All-NBA. I mean, yeah, he hasn't had a good playoffs, but his last playoffs, he was hurt. So no excuses from the Knicks. I like that. We know we can do better, and we know that we're still a better team than them, even with all the injuries. Let's see. Move forward. Exhausting Knicks must find a way. They're going to bounce back. We're going to talk about that. Josh Hart, he takes the blame. Salute to Josh Hart, Lion Hart. Hey, look, he played 48 minutes the first 2 games of this series. It's tough to play 48. Guys don't play 48 minutes like that. I know we kind of like take it for granted a little bit, but that's not the normal. Like it really isn't. Like it's just not, But Josh Hart, he said that he puts game 4 on his shoulders because he's someone who brings the energy, he brings the hustle, and he just didn't have it that game. But you know what, Josh Hart, is not your fault. No loss is just on one person. Now, sometimes you may give the coach or you may give certain players more weight because they're the stars on the team. But at the same time, it is what it is. Like, it's a team effort. So, Josh Hart, accountability. So, are we ready to jump into this? Yeah, all right. So, I'm going to talk about OG Anunoby. So, OG Anunoby, I got a lot of heat. I got a lot of heat from a lot of you guys, right? A lot of you fans was upset with me. I dropped a video talking about why OG Anunoby may not come back. Now, of course, this was before all of the recent reports. This was right after we got the report that he wasn't going to play game 3 and game 4. Like literally right before then, when they were kind of premature in their disclosing of the information. As the Knicks don't really disclose the information, so sometimes you got to read in between the lines. But this is the video here, right? So what I want to do, I want to read this comment that this Toronto Raptors fan. But by the way, if OG Anunoby doesn't come back, right? Like I stated, and y'all came for me, I'm not a doctor, right? I know I'm not a doctor. I am a fan moonlighting like a journalist. I always say that every time. I am a Knicks fan, right? But I do research, and when they start using certain terms like hamstring strain, that is actually a diagnosis. So, and what you can do with that is you can actually research it to see, okay, what it comes with. And that's what I did in this video. I'm not going to go through exactly everything I talked about in the video. Definitely go watch it. I recommend you watch it because it's even more relevant today than it was when I recorded it. Right? So I had a couple of people, I had to delete their comments. Listen, by the way, I don't mind you disagreeing with me, but you're going to do it respectfully, right? I was called a bozo. I was called all types of stuff. Okay? But listen, at the end of the day, is there a timetable for his return? No, right? And so I just want to read this one comment here that someone put. This is from a Raptors fan, right? And listen to what he says. As a Raptors fan who watched OG his whole career, even on the Knicks, as I love their team, OG is, he says, number one, OG is the best defender and 3-and-D player in the league. Why on earth would the Raptors trade him? See the rest of the list. So I'm like, okay. So number two, he says, OG will get injured when you need him. He gets freak injuries every season. Knicks have already seen this in the 4 months he's been on the team. It's too early, right? He doesn't even have a contract extension right now. What do you think about this? To those of you listening, right? We got to see. I think that the 4 months is not a good time, even though he has been hurt in the 4 months. I would like to see 4 years of OG, right? And we'll see. But look, OG for some reason takes longer than expected to return from injury. For pretty much every injury. Not sure why. Maybe a low pain threshold. Again, Knicks fans have already seen this. Now, I don't know if I agree with that entirely. I think that the Knicks aren't giving us enough detail. Like, for example, I did another OG Anunoby video, which y'all guys killed me for. Because when they put out tendinopathy, tennis elbow, I did the research on that. That typically comes with a certain, criteria for comeback, treatment, etc. Clearly, he didn't have tennis elbow. That's not my fault. I can only follow the reports, right? But I don't know if I agree with that. Pain threshold, there's no way for us to know that, right? But he's a Toronto fan, so he has his opinion. He says, once OG returns playing basketball, Raptors and Knicks fans pray he stays healthy. Wow. Another freak of stupid injury is just around the corner. You're already worried how long he's going to take to come back. Then he says, I love OG. He's a player every contender will want, but he's incredibly frustrating with injuries, which is why the Raptors traded him, and they aren't contenders, so now they don't really need him on that massive $40 million contract he's seeking, at least for a rebuilding team like the Raptors. And he actually got 2 likes on that comment. So I didn't get a chance to respond to that comment. I will, but what do you guys think about that? This is coming from a Raptors fan. Clearly, he's been monitoring OG. Now, I do know in that video, I definitely did go through the history of OG Anunoby's injury, so you can see that. You just watch this video. It's the last video I did, and you can get a feel for what I was talking about. But unfortunately, it seems like what I stated in the video is coming true. Now, I always got to let people know, I'm a Knicks fan. I don't want OG to be out. I'm just telling you exactly what's being reported and with the reality of what's being reported so we know. And I even stated that I still think we can beat the Pacers without OG Anunoby. We just got to be prepared to get the job done without him, right? So I'm going to move forward. Let me just back this up because this is my, hold on. This is my word on the street when we get to that segment. So, all right, cool. So let me go to back. So we're gonna talk more about OG Anunoby. So he didn't play Game 4. This is another article that came out after I recorded my video. It doesn't sound promising. I'm gonna go down to his injury doesn't sound promising because let's see. So here's the problem. It says the forward hasn't started running yet. He's just doing pool work in his recovery from a strained hamstring. So he's not running, y'all. So he's definitely not playing Game 5. We're hopeful for Game 6. I don't know. I don't see it happening. Let's see. I thought it was a good news though that he traveled with the team to Indiana to be with the medical staff. I don't know if that was just a PR thing. I feel like the Knicks, well, they didn't do it with Mitchell Robinson. When he actually got hurt, they said he was going to be out for 6 to 8 weeks. That's when he's going to be reevaluated. I don't know. I just feel like with OG, there's kind of like this veil of secrecy where they don't want to let out all the details. And Woj, he actually was the one that said, he actually said it the day of the Game 4, which was yesterday, right before the game. He said that he might be out longer with the hamstring injury too, longer than Game 5. So, and I do want to touch on this too. Like I said, this part of the podcast is going to be a little sad, but I will promise you it is going to get better because I'm going to get into flagship. If you just tuned in, this is This Week Inside the New York Knicks, episode 4, and we're covering all the news that happened between the 6th to the 13th. So, but here's another thing too. I want to talk about the injuries that have played the Knicks playoff run. Like now, coming up in the 90s, right? This was definitely an issue for us. And I always felt like, are we cursed? and we've had great success. 50 wins, Jalen Brunson, Josh Hart, Nova Boys, period. We've had really good success. Not championship level success, but we've had success to let us know that this team is, like I always say, we at the beginnings of another 90s level run, like how we did back then. And I honestly believe, just gotta ignore this call. Check this message. But I'm always starting to feel like I don't know. This is like a dark cloud over us. Is it because we traded Walt Clyde Frazier? I don't know. But check this out, right? And in this article, right? Of course, it's a Post article. Talks about the injuries that plagued us. Willis Reed in 1971, but we actually won the titles during that time. But 1971, he got hurt again. That kind of dampened that playoff run back then, right? And then we could fast forward. I don't want to talk about the 70s, but 1990s, right? It talks about 93-94 season, right? Doc Rivers tore his knee up. Crazy, right? 5 years later, Ewing, he turned his Achilles, right, in the East Finals. I don't know, man. What do you think, man? Oh, salute to Big Dog Talk Sports. Glad to have you in the building, man. Salute to you. I'm just on here doing my pod, talking about episode 4, talking about this Pacers series. You got New York winning in 8. So guys, we got a troll in the building. So all the mods, watch out for Big Dog Talk Sport. I'm just joking. That's my man. No, you was not joking, man. You said winning in 8. I believe that you really meant that, man. Listen, man, Knicks fans have suffered enough. Okay? We don't need you up in here telling us we're gonna win in 8. All right? We need to win in 6, realistically. But yeah, 7, we'll take 7 too. So, all right. So the game 3. All right, so game 3. Not doing a real breakdown for this. I do want to point out that in game 3, the Nova boys were solid. We said, I got the fat finger, bro. Okay. I'm very Big Dog. I know Big Dog. Listen, nobody banned Big Dog Talk Sports. All right. He may not be a Knicks fan, but that he is my people's. He's a cool dude, and he might have some interesting commentary, so we're gonna let him rock out. But talking about game 3, the couple of things I want to talk about this game is Nova boys showed up. Alec Burks off the bench. And I've been talking about Alec Burks. If you've been watching the pod, you know it. I said, they need to play Alec Burks. Get him involved. Get him acclimated. Alec Burks was putting in work off the bench. He has to play. He has experience. He's a veteran. They got to play that man. So another thing about this game, too, Miles Turner, once again, I feel like the key to the series is Miles Turner, containing him. We have to contain Miles Turner. Miles Turner, if he's playing well, the Pacers are going to be tough to beat because he's stretching the floor. He shot 40% from 3, 21 points, and 10 rebounds. We don't need that. If you go to game 2 and 1, right? Hold on, let me pull up game 2 and 1. Should have it somewhere. Hold on. All right, so this is game 2. going on with ESPN messing up my flow right now? All right, bet. So this was game 1, okay? So check this out. Miles Turner did have 23 that game. I forgot about that. But game 2, which is the one we did the live play-by-play. Where's that box? Oh, I got it here. So in game 2, the game that we actually watched, hold on, I'm gonna pull it up right now. This is the game we watched together during the watch party. In game 2, we shut him down. He only had 6 points. Shutting down Miles Turner, in my opinion, is the key because Haliburton, you're not going to stop him. And honestly, I don't think you need to stop Haliburton. The key to beating the Pacers, in my opinion, is this guy, Miles Turner. So to bring it back to here, Miles Turner having 21 points is a bad look, right? TJ McConnell didn't have the greatest game, but their bench wasn't really the answer. To be honest, they should have lost game 3. Let's just keep it funky. I don't want to make excuses. I know the Knicks, they don't make excuses, but they said that this foul here, there was no foul here on the Brunson 3, right? Okay, cool. So we'll move from that. But what about the offensive foul on Siakam? They blew that call. And if they would have got that call right, that could have helped us win this game. But by them blowing these calls, then this Nembhard 3, look at how far he is from the three-point line, and he hits the 3. So game 3, honestly, one of those games that we should have had, but I don't want to make excuses because Coach Tibbs and these guys are not making excuses. But the worst part of this game was this right here. It was Mike Breen's bang call on the 3. Mike Breen's twin bang call captured a chaotic Knicks-Pacers Game 3 ending. I don't know it would hurt more. the Mike Breen, actually the call of the bang for the 3 or the actual 3. Don't want to hear Mike Breen saying bang for the other team. That just is just, I mean, come on, bro. That was tough. That was definitely tough. But that's all I'm gonna talk about, Gary. Now we're gonna turn the podcast on its head. You're gonna turn the podcast on its head because now we're gonna get into the flagship. I want to talk about Alec Burks. I highlighted Alec Burks. He's a major key. I got a list of things I want to talk about here because the series is not over, y'all. And I know some of the view count went down because, hey, who wants to listen to what I just said? That was rough to listen to, having to go through games 3 and 4. But at the same time, we got to talk about it because it's news and we're objective. But going to the Garden is the key. We could literally win this series by winning all of our home games. The Pacers, they are a really good road team. They're a home team. They're the only home team in the playoffs that are undefeated at home. They hasn't lost a game at home. So they could win all their home games. We have to protect our home court because we only have one loss at home, which honestly was another one of those games that we should have won. So all we have to do is protect the home court. The series isn't over. Some of you guys remember back in the day, Jordan. Let's see what Sam's talking about. Stretching the series to 7 games for views. You know what, Sam? At this point, of course, in games 1 and 2, yes, the refs may have blown some calls that could have went the other way. But Sam, I mean, when you look at it, it could be I'm not a conspiracy theorist at all, Sam. But I might have to ride with you, bro, because the way game 3 went, think about it. If the ref would have called that offensive foul on Siakam, we get the ball, we make a big 3, that game changes. And you don't want the Knicks to be up 3-0. It sounds great. I don't know if it's true. It's a little out there, but at the same time, it don't make no sense. It don't make no sense. It really doesn't. But the series isn't over, right? So of course, Alec Burks joined the series, right? Did I just X out the tab? I think I did. No problem. We got to take care of the home court. You see all these legends right here? They come out to support us. Salute to Knick Nation. We got the best fan base in the world. We got the best celebrity fan base in the world. All these guys are old Knicks. They coming through to support us, yo. Camaraderie. I might get into Charles Oakley a little bit. Sam, the whole point of yes, that is the point of having home court advantage. That's why getting that last win. That's why we don't duck the smoke. Remember, they were saying, there was people saying, the Knicks should lose that game so you get the Magic in the first round. Magic went to 7 games in their series. We went to 6 against the Sixers. They went to 7 games. So that's why you don't really play around with that. You're right. That's the whole point of home court advantage. But you see this Knick Nation right here? We got the best fan base in the world. Big up to all the Knicks legends, man. We just got to win at home. So we still got home court advantage. We didn't lose it, right? Of course, the Post, salute to the Post, because I feel like the Post, the New York media has been holding the Knicks down. Knicks dog mentality has them prepared for new injury adversity. We've been going through adversity the whole entire playoffs, right? Even if Jalen Brunson is questionable, he's going to play, right? I mean, Coach Tibbs is summing it up. It don't matter. OG not there, OG there. We still going to do what we have to do. And that's always going to be a major key, right? We got to maintain our dog mentality. I talked about Indiana. They're a great home team. They're the only undefeated team. I even talked about Jordan being blown out, right? Jordan got smacked one year. I think it was to Cleveland. Sam might remember better than me. When Jordan got smacked in the playoffs, but came back and they won the series. Let's see. Hey, we got to keep that same energy. I'm not sure if Reggie Miller's going back to the Garden for like Game 7 or whatever. Whenever TNT has coverage of the game, if they do, I don't know. But yeah, we got to keep that same energy, man. And like Sam said it, that the fans definitely have maintained the rivalry. Oh, Sam. Oh, okay, Sam. I hear you. I'm a conspiracy entertainer. Honestly, I'm an entertainer too, man. Because the way this series has been going, and when you look at the first 3 games of this series, how the refs literally played an integral part in how the games are being called, it's crazy. Like, the Knicks really should be up 3-1. Like, seriously. I mean, but hey, it is what it is. And the Pacers might say, yeah, well, we should be up. We should have swept y'all. Or at least the Pacers could say they should have been up 3-1. But I don't know. I'm feeling you, Sam. I'm feeling you on that. And then Rick Carlisle, right? Once again, I kind of highlighted this too. The complaints by when they lose, they go on this rant. Coach Tibbs says, hey, it is what it is. So I feel like our attitude and our mentality will be able to carry us forward into the victory tomorrow, which is Tuesday, or when I'm not sure when you're watching the pod, but Game 5 is what I'm talking about. I feel like we have more than what it takes to get the job done. Now, I do want to, and then now I'm going to start barking on some people. First off, where's this guy at? This guy right here, man, Charles Barkley. First off, he had some weird Knicks anger after game 2. Now, I didn't really hear this because this was the night we did the live play-by-plays. Unfortunately, I won't be able to do another live play-by-play for this series. Maybe if it goes to Game 7, I can do Game 7. But my schedule's kind of crazy. But this guy right here, Charles Barkley, right? The round mound of rebound, right? This guy had the audacity to go on the post-game show and say, people think we care who wins. If the Knicks win, that'll be good. I don't care who wins. But I'm going to tell you what. I love to see they a-holes get stomped by the Celtics. That'll be great. I'm just saying, whoever wins this series is going to get stomped by the Celtics, right? Now, you don't know what's going to happen. Celtics still got to get through Cleveland, right? I'm not saying they're not going to, but come on, bro, right? So that's his first comments, right? Now, Kenny Smith said to Barkley that you actually do care who wins, right? And then Barkley said, I guess I do. After he literally just said he doesn't. Guy, you can't make this up. He says, New Yorkers deserve it. Y'all think y'all the greatest thing since sliced bread. Y'all ain't that good in New York. Come on, man. You're overrated. Now, what is this? This new North-South bias? This North-South tension? This North-South beast? Why is he coming for New Yorkers like that? And Shaq is a Jersey guy too, right? But Shaq is one of those Jersey guys that don't like New York. I don't know if you guys peeped that, but Shaq is one of those guys that he really is not rocking with New York like that. That's why they say the things. That's why when Shaq say, oh, Magic gonna sweep the Knicks, right? And Barkley, every series, every game that comes on their network, they pick the Pacers to win, bro. They pick the Sixers to win. Every game that comes on their network, they pick against the Knicks every time. In terms of this, New Yorkers don't deserve it. What don't we deserve? Are you talking about the Knicks fans? We haven't won nothing in 50 years. Are you talking about New York? The best city in the world? The place to be? The money-making capital? Are you talking about New York, the city, the people that live here? Some of the most hardest working people in the country? You taking shots at us? Why? I don't talk about the South. My family from the South. Salute to the South, man. We're not promoting no New York, South, anything. But we got to shut these guys up. We got to make these guys mad because they really don't like us. They really don't like us. Charles Barkley, he's bugged out, man. I don't know. But I didn't even realize he said this because, like I said, we was doing the live play-by-play. But that's the point. They don't like us, y'all. They don't like us. Let's see. Any other words I want to say? And to bring it back to games 1 and 2, right? So I'm going to go back to this is game 1. No, game 2. Shutting down Miles Turner is the key. Now, Siakam is going to be difficult because the Precious matchup, if Precious can step up to the plate with that, it'd be great. Josh Hart struggles a little bit with the size because Siakam is actually one of the few players in the league that uses his length. Oh, salute the big dog. Talk sports. Okay, Knicks Celtics in the East Finals. I'm with you. Yo, big dog. Look, all we gotta do is win home. Knicks win at home, they win the series. And I can guarantee, yes, I'm a guarantee that the game 5 is gonna be way different from game 4. Boston beating us in 6. Yo, big dog, I could respect that, even though this is a Knicks show and you lucky. I told them not to get you up out of here. This is a Knicks show. I can't front on you, but I would be foolish to not think the Celtics are the favorite. You know what I'm saying? Like, that would be kind of foolish for me to kind of disregard that. But I do think nothing is over till it's over. Things happen, yo. Celtics still got to get through Cleveland. We got to get through the Pacers. But I do think that we're going to put up a fight with the Celtics. And my take is I'm focused on how we can beat the Celtics if we get to that point. But we got to get there. Right now, we're talking about these Pacers. Oh yeah, the last thing I want to talk about. I forgot I had this here. And this is to the naysayers. This is to Charles Barkley and all of the naysayers. I'm going to point this out right quick. Yeah, Rick Carlisle, he's crazy. Jalen Brunson gets his Nike billboard in Midtown. And what does it say here, y'all? Don't sleep. I'm taking it as don't sleep on us. We got smacked in game 4. It's okay, but we're going to come back. I just wanted to put that in there as a positive message. But yeah, Miles Turner, shutting down Miles Turner, containing TJ McConnell. Deuce McBride has to step up to take that challenge. Pascal Siakam might be an X factor, but you can live with he and Haliburton cooking. Naismith getting shots, Nembhard getting shots. We don't need to see that. They're going to have to lock in. They got the rest they needed in game 4. Come back game 5 strong, ready to go. And yeah. So I did a poll. I'm going to jump in the word in the street real quick. Let's see what the big dog talking about. Josh Hart has become, Josh Hart. Josh Hart, salute to Josh Hart, man. He got the perfect name, Josh Hart. We call him Lionheart. He plays 48 minutes a night. He don't care if he's 6'4". He's getting all the rebounds. He's going to hustle till the wheels fall off. He's going to play defense against guys that outweigh him by 20 to 30 pounds. They're taller than him by 4 to 6 inches. It don't matter. He's going to get the job done. That's what Josh Hart does. So, yeah, Josh Hart is definitely he's a Knicks favorite. I mean, we love him, Knicks fans. I mean, I haven't really seen anyone. I'm on Knicks Twitter now. By the way, I'm on Knicks Twitter. Get at me. TOF on fire, right? The Objective Fan on fire, basically. On Twitter, I'm on there. I'm kind of active. I'm in the communities a little bit. Check me out. And I noticed all these communities, all Facebook, everything. No one has ever said anything bad about Josh Hart. But they're now coming for Jalen Brunson. I don't want to go there, but Jalen Brunson's getting some of the smoke, y'all. A lot of fans are coming at Jalen Brunson. And I'm like, yo, just a week ago, just a day ago, y'all was in love with Jalen Brunson. Now, Brunson, he doesn't pass enough. It's crazy how fans can turn on the stars like that. It's not most fans, but you have some fans with the heart now to speak out. And I'm pretty sure some of these guys might even be Emmanuel Quickly fans, because a lot of those guys were bitter. But I digress. So we're going to jump into this whole Charles Oakley. I'm going to try to get to Oakley. It's getting a little late, but I'm going to stretch it a little bit over the 50-minute mark. But word on the street where we see how Knicks fans feel. Right? I'm going to go over a couple of these polls just to see where Knicks fans are at. Attention, Knicks fans. According to Charles Oakley, Jalen Brunson is the best Knicks since Walt Clyde Frazier. What are your thoughts? Do you agree? So I'm going to put it's too early to tell. All right, so 320 votes. 69% think Brunson is the best since Clyde. 10% say he's not on Ewing or Melo's level. I don't know if he's on Ewing's level yet. Ewing has spent so many years in New York. They went to the finals twice. So I think you would need more of a body of work. As far as Melo's concerned, Melo is another one where, I think he was a scoring champion as a Knick. He went to the playoffs a couple of years. I can't remember if it was 2 or 3 years. I know the other years besides that 2013 team, they were first-round bowouts. I remember the one year, Mari Stoudemire, he hurt his hand on the fire extinguisher, which was crazy. I don't know if I could say Brunson over Melo right now. I think that if you compare him to the two of these guys, like if you say in year 2, what has Ewing done? In year 2, what has Melo done? Maybe. But if you want to make it the whole career, it's too early to tell. That's what I think, right? Okay, cool. So, and by the way, you could go vote for these polls too if you want to vote, if you hadn't already. Attention Knicks fans, last night the Knicks won in impressive fashion despite the injuries and playing at a fast pace. In your opinion, which stood out the most? This was the game 2. I told you I'm ending the podcast on the positive note. All right. So what was the most impressive thing to me was playing well at a fast pace. So OG outclassed Siakam, 56% of the vote. Brunson scored 29 points in 3 quarters, 26% of the vote. And then playing well at a fast pace was 18% of the vote. I think that was what it was. Let's see what Big Dog's talking about. Bro, I would love for you to join you one day, go live on the Behind the Bench Network. Me and the homie might do a podcast on Tuesdays. Okay, yeah, hit me up. Travis, hit me up on Facebook. You can talk about that. I'm always down to do collabs. I actually did a show on House Call Sports. I do a weekly show on there. I was doing a Thursday show with Brother Garfield podcast. I had to take a break. That was on me. We hope to bring that back where I talk all sports. So yeah, hit me up. I'm always down to collab, and that goes to anybody. If you want to collab with me, you can send me an email, info@theobjectiveknicksfan.com, right? Or you can send me a message on Twitter, IG. I'm on all the platforms. Just hit me up, y'all. I'm always down to collaborate. I love talking this Knick talk. I love talking sports. I mean, everything. I'm NBA, a little bit of football. So yeah, just get at me. So all right. So let me try to see what other poll I want to touch on. Let's see. Okay, yeah. So this is the Brunson. We'll talk about this one. It's interesting to see the narrative shift now that traditional media, I meant to put old media, but the AI corrected me. Traditional media is starting to recognize Jalen Brunson as a 1A star. Can he lead us to the championship as a first option? Of course, now I did this poll after we won the first 2 games of the series, so Knicks fans definitely were very optimistic. I'm gonna put yes, he's one of them ones. And of course, most 95% of fans say that. The other 4 was kind of unsure. So salute the Knick Nation for giving Brunson his props. I do think he could. Now, I just dropped this poll today. It's already at 82 votes, so we'll go over it. Attention Knicks fans, after losing to a large margin to the Pacers in Game 4, where do you think the Knicks stand? Did the scales of victory tip in favor of Indy, right? So I think the Knicks still win the series, and most of the Knicks fans do too thus far. 86% of the vote went to the Knicks winning the series. 13% say, yes, the Pacers will win now, and then 1% doesn't know. So salute to everybody, the word on the street, just to give you an idea what Knicks fans are going forward. Let's see how much. I don't want to go too much longer. I will talk about Draymond Green just a little bit. He's definitely going to get some smoke and some fire, and then I might end it on Charles Oakley. But Draymond Green says that Knicks are a fluke and are setting up fans for misery. Okay, so first off, what is a fluke? A fluke is something that happens one time and never happens again. The Knicks haven't reached their potential yet. He compared us to the Atlanta Hawks. He says in the Eastern Conference Finals, you can get to the conference finals a la Atlanta Hawks by playing very mid-team. So that's what you all are doing right now. The Warriors forward said on the Draymond. I don't give his podcast. He does have a podcast. All right, I give him like Draymond Green show. Check it out. All right. And I think it's setting y'all for what happened to the Atlanta Hawks 3 years ago when they made the conference finals and never got back. First off, let me just say this. The Atlanta Hawks, they made the move for Murray, DeJounte Murray, but the biggest mistake they made was letting John Collins go. I know they got Jalen Johnson now. That kid is talented. I like Jalen Johnson. He went to Duke. Salute to Duke. You know, I'm a Duke Blue Devil fan. Only team I'm a fan of that's not a New York-based team. And so, but at the same time, they let John Collins go. Issues with Nate McMillan. The Knicks don't have coaching issues, right? So there was an issue with Trae Young and Nate McMillan. Can't forget that. They had to move certain players, certain attitudes. They're not built like the Knicks. They actually were a one-hit wonder. And I think in the second round, I can't remember who they played, whether it was Boston or Milwaukee or, damn, who was it in the second round they played that year? Maybe the chat, maybe y'all remember. But anyway, they beat somebody in the second round who I don't think they were healthy. So, yeah, you can't compare us to the Atlanta Hawks. Everyone is looking forward to see what this Knicks team does going forward. By the way, the Atlanta Hawks were healthy in those playoffs. They had their whole team. We don't have our whole team. Imagine what we're going to do when we got our whole team out there. So, yeah, Draymond, you bugging. Let's see. Yeah, I read the quotes. Yeah, Draymond Green, I don't know what he's thinking. Because, one, Draymond, you're at home. So you're at home on the podcast. It's not like you're going to the Eastern Conference, the Western Conference Finals. Hey, you guys won. All right, so let's go there. Since we want to talk about flukes. Why did you guys only win one championship before Kevin Durant? It could be argued that, hey, maybe you guys don't win another championship unless Kevin Durant comes there. And then the events and the series of events that took place after. You did get the championship in 2022, right? I can't take the knock off that. But will you get another one? Is your 2022 championship a fluke, Draymond Green? Because you guys didn't even go to the playoffs this year, right? And you guys got bumped in the second round to the Lakers, who wound up getting swept in the conference finals to maybe the Western Conference, right? Since we want to talk about how weak the conferences are, maybe last year, Western Conference was just weak. And you guys couldn't even get to the Western Conference finals because the 8th-seeded Lakers managed to get all the way to the conference finals. I'm just saying, so it's so easy for these guys to talk about us and want to come for us, but yeah, we said, can we trade y'all Draymond for Josh? Oh, wait, hold on. Are you a Warriors fan, Trav? You a Warriors fan? Can we trade y'all Draymond for Josh Hart? Hell no. And your man's need to watch what he got to say because he don't want the objective fan on his back. I could come for him. I'm just saying, we ain't no flukes. Y'all already know, I defend Knick Nation. Listen, if the Knicks are bad, I'll be the first one to tell you. The Knicks are not bad. Right now, we are hurt. And there's no fluke because we're going to be back next year. In fact, we come back next year healthy, we going to the finals. I said it here first on the Objective Knicks Fan podcast this week inside the New York Knicks. I said it here first. We're going to go to the finals next year. I'm trying to think of anything else I want to say about Draymond. I'm going to move off of Draymond. I'm going to end it on a positive note. Let's see, Mr. Freckles, how would you like to see Obi brother Jacob Chopping get a few minutes, kick a score? I'm going to tell you the problem with that, Mr. Freckles. It'll be hard to convince Coach Tibbs to play Toppin because, one, he hasn't really played any significant minutes the whole season. Even when they had injuries, he might have came off the bench 1 or 2 times. I'm talking about when they were decimated, like they only had like 8 players to suit up. So the kid hasn't gotten enough time on the floor. So to expect the kid who was a second-round pick, or I'm not even sure if he was a second-round pick, a guy who bounces around in and out of the G League, right? You want to ask him to come in and play 10, 15 playoff minutes. That's going to be tough right now, Mr. Freckles. I respect what you're saying. I think that, hell, is worth a shot. But I also don't see us as being a team that desperate. I think now we have an 8-man rotation. Sims probably won't get much time, maybe 10 to 15 minutes, if that, probably more so on the 10-minute side, just to give Precious a good opportunity to, get some time at the 5-2. Because for whatever reason, Tibbs prefers Precious at the 5, more so than the 4. So because you have Sims, Burks, Deuce, I don't know if Tibbs would want to add to that. I think the issue is right now, well, at least for game 4, was they didn't have the legs. I think not playing as much minutes, coming back home is going to give you more energy, more fight, more stamina, right? Just being in that home crowd. I don't think you're going to need Toppin, but honestly, it's not a bad idea, Mr. Freckles. Let's see what Big Dog talking about. Come on, man. We'll throw y'all. Nah, hell, listen, bro. Draymond Green is done, bro. And I hate to say it like that because I like Draymond Green. But, his career, he's at the end of his career. Why would I trade a guy that still got 7 years left? Right? Draymond was a hell of a player. If you would have hit me up 6 years ago, I still wouldn't trade Hart, but I probably would trade someone else for him. I think Draymond is definitely one of them ones when he was close to his prime. Right now, I feel like he's over the hill, and the Warriors are done. Bro, put it like this, Trav. With the Warriors, what are y'all going to do when Steph retires? I don't even think y'all going to maintain the same fan base. The Knicks will overtake you. So Trav is going to be good while it lasts. But once Steph, unless they can somehow convince Giannis to go over there, or Wemby or something like that, the Warriors is done. the Warriors don't have the history that Boston or LA has. Doesn't have it. So when you lose those guys, it's over, bro. I'm sorry. But, we're not giving up Josh Hart. Josh Hart is – the Nova Boys are not tradable. You can't trade for the Nova Boys. Anybody else on this team is pretty much expendable but the Nova Boys. They're not going for it. They're not going for it. But, yeah, you tell your man Draymond to chill, B. He needs to relax. He needs to relax. Or I'm going to be on his head, and he can't really win. If he won – listen, I'm willing to debate anyone. If anyone thinks the Knicks is a fluke, you lost already. I'm just letting you know it. I'm just letting you know it. And make sure you don't live in glass houses when you throw stones. But I'm to end on a positive note. I'm gonna move a little faster. We did word on the street. We also covered the flagship guys. We talked about how the Knicks could bounce back in this series. Mostly MSG. Definitely check the rewind to catch any parts you missed. In terms of Bernard King, this was after game 2. He gave Jalen Brunson his shot. He said he's mastered the art of offense. And he's honored that Jalen Brunson broke his records. Podcast P, salute the Podcast P. This is a guy who I respect. He's also podcasting. He's also got bumped in the playoffs, but he gave props. He said that Jalen Brunson, he did not. He's not gonna lie. Didn't see the Knicks Jalen Brunson being this good, right? He said not like this. I ain't even gonna lie. I thought he was really good. And you can see flashes of what he's doing now. You saw those flashes and those plays when he was in Dallas, but obviously it was just a small sample size when you're playing alongside Luka. And by the way, Dallas is looking really good too. I was throwing shade at them, but the Kyrie Luka thing looks like they're gonna go back to the Western Conference Finals. Not that I want to act like the series is over because it's not, but they're looking really good. So Luka went out and Brunson became the starter, and in the stretch where he was hurt, he showed that he could handle the team and be the face of the team. So you saw the signs, but I didn't think he'd be this good, especially what he's doing in probably the biggest market you could do it in the toughest probably franchise that you could play for, with the expectations. The pressure in New York, he's delivering. He's been tough. He's been extremely tough. I just didn't figure it out. I think he figured it out, especially with no Julius Randle, too. So salute the Podcast P. Told you, I'm ending the pod on a good note, y'all. I'm ending the pod on a good note. Podcast P gave Jalen Brunson his pops. I'm not going to touch on this. There's a hidden rivalry. The rivalry, let's keep it real. The rivalry between Brunson and Haliburton is not them two. Them two were cool. They became friends over the summer. It's the media. Ever since the World Cup, they have been pitting these two guys against each other. And I had to take the Brunson side because I'm a Knicks fan. But to be honest, their games are not even the same, bro. Like, there's two different styles of game. SGA and Brunson have a more compatible game, like a comparable game, than Brunson and Haliburton. Haliburton is lighting up, but he's really a pass-first point guard. Let's see. I'm expecting New York to be a top contender in the East next year. Yeah, salute the Trap, right? By the way, Big Dog Talk Sports is not a Knicks fan. He's my man. He's cool with me. But look what he said. He says he's expecting the Knicks to be a top contender. So I'm expecting a move here or there. Not too much. We don't need no moves. We don't need to make no moves, no real moves. I think we're fine. We need to just be healthy, to be honest. I'm expecting Dallas versus Denver in the Western Conference Finals, and I'm expecting a classic series. Yeah, that's going to be classic, but Denver's going to win. Denver. If Denver gets over Minnesota challenge, you can't beat those guys because they already shown that pick and roll is just it is what it is. But to wrap this up, yeah, the rivalry is in the media. Old media is pitting Brunson and things together. As far as Charles Oakley, I'm not sure if I want to talk about Oakley. I did a pod about this a long time ago. I'm just going to say this in terms of Oakley, right? With the whole invite to the Garden, the Knicks say they didn't invite Oakley to the Garden. Oakley say he's not coming to the Garden unless he gets an apology from Dolan. I'm going to say this. I'm going to just show you this on the screen right quick. just to like sum this up, if there's an issue with Dolan and players, right? There's an issue with Dolan and players. Why do we have all of these guys here, former Knicks here, with the exception of Dominique, of course? But why are all these guys here? Bernard King, Amari, John Starks, Clyde Frazier, Marbury, Tim Thomas, who wasn't even a Knick that long, Freewell, Houston. Why are all these guys in the Garden, bro? Why half of these guys got jobs or had opportunities in the Garden to work? Why is it that when the NBA went to Cleveland for All-Star games, Charles Oakley gets mad that he doesn't get the invite? And he makes a big deal about the NBA not That's all I'm going to say about that. Y'all could read in between those lines. I love Oakley. I was an Oakley fan, but all of the former Knicks are at the Garden, bro. His teammates are there. I don't know. That's all I'm gonna say about Oakley. I'm just trying to wrap it up, guys. Yo, another great pod. Another great pod. We made it. Don't get too down. Game 5 will be a lot different, for sure. And a lot of people like Trav, salute the Trav in the building. They think that we can win the series. You know, what the games like that happen. You know, it's not the end all be all. Oh, you know what? Yeah, just to have some fun and giggles. I could do a speed run right quick. To all the long time pod listeners, if you've been listening to the pod since the pod started last year, you remember we talked about James Dolan. I have a James Dolan episode. I went in on how I feel about Dolan, right? And it's funny, right? I'm not saying my pod is all big and cause all this change, but I did notice some people's tones change towards Dolan after that pod, right? I'm not gonna name no names, but I'm gonna say this. We talked about the lawsuit that was brought towards James Dolan because of the whole facial ID, which in my opinion was blown out the water. Basically, I could break it down. The whole banning of fans, people try to make things bigger than what it is. It wasn't that he was going to ban fans. It was just these lawyers that was suing him who come to the Garden. He felt like it's not good for these guys to come in the Garden. You suing me? Why you want to come to the Garden? You know what I'm saying? Like, I could kind of respect that. I mean, would I have done this? Probably not. I'm a billionaire. I'm doing me. But say what you want to say about Dolan. He cares. He cares about the Knicks. He wants the Knicks to do well. He's doing the right thing by just not being involved. Dolan is not involved with none of the players. And all these trades you see, Brunson, he has nothing to do with that. He's letting Leon Rose do his job. That's all I want from the owner. But because he did the whole facial recognition thingy, the guy sued him. And as you can see, the judge got rid of the case. It was dismissed. You want to see how I feel about Dolan? Go back in time. It's in the playlist folder. I did a nice episode. I don't want to talk about Dolan right now. I think he's doing a great job of just being the owner and letting the basketball people handle the basketball. And that's all, man. Any final thoughts from you guys? Let me know in the chat. It's been a great pod. We made it. Try not to stay too long, but hey, it's a live show and you guys can have comments and I like to read the comments and interact. But salute to Trav in the building. Salute to Sam in the building. Mr. Freckles in the building. Salute to you. Salute to everybody that tuned in. And even if you didn't tune in and you're just listening in because you're at work, that's fine. That's fantastic. I appreciate all the listeners, to all those that's going to be listening on the rebroadcast. Oh, by the way, I didn't even do this. Not sure if I could do it now. Do I have it here? I don't. Be sure to join the Discord, y'all. You're a Knicks fan. Definitely, the link is pinned in the comments, or just go to www.theobjectiveknicksfan.com and click join Discord, and I'll get you up in the Discord. Yeah, yo, Mr. Freckles, right? It's crazy to call this a fluke. I'm going to tell you right now, you have guys that are bitter, like Jimmy Butler. I'm not even sure if I talked about him last week. I think I did, but Jimmy Butler said that what he said about Josh Hart and beating the Knicks if he was healthy and all these things. It's easy to say these things from the couch, right? And why are you even taking a negative stand against the Knicks? Yeah, he did say Brunson, his contract, the Knicks pretty much got lucky. He's underpaid. He could be paid way more for what he's bringing. But then he also says that Jalen Brunson is not the best point guard because of the playoffs. And then listen to what he says, y'all. He says, "Oh, Steph Curry. Steph Curry is not the best point guard in the NBA no more." Even though I said I think he's the best point guard in history, but I did say that. You can shoot me for that, disagree with me for that, whatever. To me, he's the best point guard in history. But right now in the NBA, he is not that's like saying LeBron is the best player because some people think he's the greatest of all time. I'm not a LeBron as the greatest of all time guy. I think he's in the top 3. I don't got him as all time. But is LeBron James the best player right now? No. We already know the best point guards in the NBA are playing right now in the Western Conference, right? And they're not named Steph Curry. I digress. But Jalen Brunson is top 5. And I've held on to that top 5 Jalen Brunson since the season began. I was like, yo, Jalen Brunson's one of them ones. I don't think none of them could deal with him. But Jalen Brunson's definitely top 5 point guard right now. And if they want to debate that, we could. But would I say he's the best? I wouldn't say Jalen Brunson's the best right now. Not right now. But he's amazing. And he's the best player on the Knicks. And that's all that matters. And he's putting in that work. He's putting up historic numbers. Still probably the best player in the playoffs if you look at the entire body work of the playoffs. But yeah, the Knicks are not a fluke, Mr. Freckles. Don't let these guys... That's why I do the pod too, yo, is to set these guys straight. I go at old media. I go at their crazy narratives. I go at any personality saying crazy stuff. I went at Gilbert Arenas when he said the Knicks suck, right? When he said the whole thing about small teams. When you look at the playoffs right now, a bunch of teams that don't play a traditional 4 at the 4. Indiana with Siakam. I guess Siakam is a kind of a traditional 4 because he has the length, right? But look at Tatum in Boston. I mean, he does have the length, but these guys don't play like traditional power forwards, right? Knicks with OG Anunoby, right? Now Josh Hart. OKC with Jalen Williams. Jalen Williams, people forget, he's like 6'4", right? So, these guys be saying crazy stuff all the time. It's content for me, You say the crazy stuff, I'm gonna respond back. But that's all I got for you guys. If you guys don't got nothing left in the chat. By the way, like I said, if you want to collaborate with me, info@theobjectiveknicksfan.com. All my contact information is in the description of all the videos. You can know how to get to me if you want to get to me. If you follow me on IG, following me on TikTok, send me a message, and we can talk. I'm always down to collaborate. That's what it's about. I love talking sports, not just Knicks too. Any sport, especially within the realms of NBA, boxing. I could talk about anything trending too. A little bit of college, basketball. Not too much on the football side. Well, college football is like your own world. Salute to you, college football people. I just, it's just too much for me. It's just too many players, too much going on. But college basketball, I like college basketball. Hell, I'm even getting into the WNBA. I'm gonna be watching the Liberty. I might even add that reporting to the pod a little bit. I might cover them a little bit on the pod. Just to show that New York support. They honestly have a really good team from what I seen last year. I don't know about this year, but I'm pretty sure they didn't drop off that much, and they might have a good chance of winning the championship. I know that Vegas team, the Aces, they for real. With all the girls they got on that team, but I'm riding with New York to the death, to the wheels fall off, y'all. So if y'all guys ain't got any final comments, I'm gonna wrap up. Definitely a great show. I appreciate you guys for checking me out each and every week, making the pod be what it be. And that's all for this pod, man. And until next time, y'all, let's go Knicks.